afternoon, everybody. Welcome to BW Business World. Today, I have with me Mr. Darpan Sanghvi, who is Group Founder and CEO of the Good Glamm Group. Welcome, Mr. Sanghvi.
Hi Resham, thank you for
So
having
good
me.
to have you. We are here to discuss how beauty and personal care continues to be a fast-growing segment, and of course, a broader perspective on how D2C is growing in India. Tell us something about the growth strategy of the company. Just because we know that, and we need to understand that beauty and personal care is the segment in D2C which is growing crazily and which will continue to grow in India. What has been your growth strategy for the Good Glam Group?
So, Abe, I think we're very lucky that the Good Glamm Group is in the beauty and personal care segment. As you rightly pointed out, beauty and personal care as a category is doing very, very well. So maybe first I'll answer why as a category that's an important category here and what's happening here and how DTC is actually disrupting it and making it grow even faster. So, if you see economies all over the world, when the GDP per capita starts getting close to $2,000, you start seeing the beauty and personal care segments start seeing a disproportionate growth. This has happened all over the world historically. India started to get into that phase over the last few years. So we know that beauty personal care consumption is going to grow up dramatically, and it has been growing dramatically over the last few years. Now, what's fueling that growth? How are consumers today discovering, how do you discover a new product or a new trend or what's happening, what's latest or new ingredient? Is through social media.
That's
Right? And for DTC brands, social media comes naturally. So what you've seen is beauty personal care as a category exploding because the disposable incomes in the country are reaching a threshold. And then a consumer behavior of being on their phone, on social media, and discovering what's new in the world happening through social media. And so they're discovering brands as well digitally. And that's why you've seen DTC brands come up really well over the last few years. So as a group, our strategy has been to leverage both of these phenomena, advent of social media and consumers using that to discover new trends and products, and the fact that beauty and personal care is the growing segment. And so our strategy, as you might know, is leveraging content, creators, to then build great brands within the beauty and personal care segment. That's how the Good Glamm Group came about.
so good to know about it. Tell us what was the context behind, what was the drive behind, and also how it has panned out for you.
So, the pivotal moment for Good Glamm Group came about around in September 2020 when Popexo and MyGlam came together. And we started the content to commerce journey where we suddenly saw MyGlam, our first brand, which is now amongst the top makeup brands of India, really scale up, leveraging the content user base of Popexo. So when we figured that out, we said, look, I think we've cracked something unique here. So let's go and build out the largest digital distribution online. And so we went and got a bunch of content companies. We also realized that consumers today are looking more and more at creators to tell them what's happening, right? And so we bought a bunch of creator companies because we recognize creators are going to be the big medium through which information is going to get disseminated and consumed on social media. And the third piece is Good Brands, where we said, hey, we have a makeup brand, MyGlam, but can we also, to this consumer, I know you came onto my platform and you got a lipstick and you became my customer because of our MyGlam lipstick, but you have other needs as well. You need a shampoo, you need a skin care. If you're a mother, you need mom and baby care. You have intimate hygiene products. And so we said, if we own the customer because we're direct to consumer, we can sell more brands. And that's how we created Good Brands Co. And we got a portfolio of beauty and personal care brands. So then when we realized, hey, we've got 5 content companies, we've got 4 creator companies, we've got 5 beauty personal care brands, let's turn them into individual divisions with individual P&Ls and individual leaders. Because the other thing that we realized was all 3 of them have very unique DNAs. So someone who's working in the content company, his or her DNA is incredibly different from someone who's working in a brand's commerce company. And similarly with a creator company. So we restructured the group instead of just being one large group to a group with 3 distinct divisions. Good Media Co., which owns our content assets, Scoop Whoop, Popexo, Miss Malini, Baby Chakra, and recently we announced Tweak coming into Good Media Co. as well. Good Creator Co., where we put together, we bought Winkle, Viduli, Bulbul, and Plixo, and put them together into one tech stack and one platform called Good Creator Co. And Good Brands Co., which has MyGlam, Saint Botanica, Moms Co., Organic Harvest, Sirona, and Baby Chakra under Good Brands Co. So these three became our verticals. They are all three led by different CEOs who have very different skill sets. And the KPIs for the teams for all three are very, very unique. And all three have to be independently profitable without getting subsidized by the other divisions. And then in that in that jigsaw puzzle of ours, good media and good creator become the internal flywheel that scale our good brands. And that's how we structured the three divisions.
So interesting, and this is a dynamically huge space to look at. There is a trend going on in D2C, if we can say. The companies are now going physical. There was a time when most of the brands in the sector started from a website.
Correct.
And then went on to partner with the e-commerce giants and get their expansion plans on. But what is right now compelling companies to go physical?
So, we've always believed from when we started our first brand, MyGlam, in October 2017, we always believed that in India, if you have to be a big brand, customers need to be able to find you in the neighborhood store. You have to be omni-channel, right? So while we are digital first and 70% of our revenues come from online, offline will always be an important part of our company. I think, in India, consumers need to touch and feel you to know that this is a big tangible brand, right? And so I think and more companies are recognizing that and going offline. But for us, look, we're always clear offline will be about 30% of our revenues, even when we scale further over the next few years. We today have about 2,000 shop-in-shops across over 100 cities of India. What we really need to build out is the true FMCG style distribution, where we can be at every grocery store, every pharmacy, every kirana store with some of our personal care brands. That takes time to build, and that's not easy to do. It's a very different DNA as well. So that's one of the challenges we want to solve in the omni-channel physical space over the next couple of years.
I could understand, just because in the vice versa mode, if you could say, see, just because the established players in the retail sector are also trying to adapt to the D2C channel as well. And what are some of the prominent challenges you are witnessing right now?
So I think, if you see our objectives for this coming year, right? One is, I think, okay, let's see what played out. In 2021, we bought a bunch of companies. In 2022, we consolidated all, and they all grew really well, right? So all the brands that we bought have grown between 2 to 4 times in a period of 12 months. So, and that growth has been powered by our content and creators creating a direct-to-consumer channel for them, which did not exist earlier before we bought them. So that part of the hypothesis played out well. I think integrating the different companies in one centralized organization, it took a lot of time, a lot of sweat, blood, and tears. It's not easy when it comes to, merging 10, 12 different companies, cultures into one smooth working organization. And I think we've got the org design right. If I look at what is coming up for us now, is a couple of things. One is we have to be profitable, and that's a very, very important metric for us internally, that this year we need to hit profitability. So that's one thing that we're working on. We are looking at entering the men's segment. So you will see a few men's brand being launched by us in this year, right? And you will see us scale all three of our channels. The offline channel, we're going to go from about 2,000 BA doors to about 3,500 BA doors this year. You will see us scale, obviously, a direct-to-consumer. Today, we have 12 million plus transacted customers on a direct-to-consumer platform, right? That number over the next 2 years will become close to 25 to 30 million transacted customers on our direct-to-consumer platform. And we will continue to scale on marketplaces like Amazon, Nykaa, Myntra, and Flipkart. This is sort of what's coming. So I would say, when you say challenges for the year, is really making sure this execution happens, this growth happens for us. The other interesting challenge we've taken up for the year is, can we crack international? If you look at the large FMCG companies in India, you look at a Godrej, you look at a Wipro Consumer, you look at a Marico, substantial chunk of their revenues comes from outside India, right? And we think that's an interesting opportunity as well.
What would be one piece of advice to any entrepreneur which is trying to get to that level, to scale, to expand, or let's say to consolidate their companies in the particular sector?
I think if you're building a brand, just be true to your brand point of view, right? Everything else will follow. Make sure you know what your brand stands for, right? And then everything that you do, actually epitomizes that brand point of view. Because end of the day, a brand is about having that emotional connect with the consumer beyond a functional benefit, right? The minute you're able to create an emotional benefit, you become a brand. Once you become a brand, you can unlock value, right? I think consolidation, M&A, more categories, which channels, all of that is strategy, right? And each one will know what's the right strategy for them. But the one thing you can never sort of go away from is being true to your brand. Be true to your brand. Consumers will relate with that, connect with that. As your brand grows, you will understand what's the right strategy for you, and you will you will figure it out.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This was very insightful. This was a lovely conversation. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks
Thank
for
you,
joining
Resham.
in.
Good
Thank
to
you.
see you. Thank you.
Thank you.